What's up, guys, and welcome back to another solo reclaimer video. This episode is going to be focused primarily on kind of just talking about how observations I've made through the meta changes for solo salvaging, or just salvaging in general. But I'm gonna go and show you guys kind of what I've got, stacked here in the reclaimer. I was just basically going out and just trying to see how long I could stay out, and just stacking 16s in every little nook and cranny here. So this is the cargo bay, almost full. I decided to just kind of stop throwing stuff in there, and then we'll go check out the salvage hold here real quick. I want to say I'm a little over half full on the salvage as well. It's just I wish they would just make this the doors to this cargo elevator a little bit bigger so it's not so annoying. So that's about half full. We can probably fit another 10 or so in there probably, which is just fine. And then I'll go over to the salvage processing here and show you kind of what I got stacked up with this. I guess if you got dedicated people running the process room, and you're not solo, then you could just have them run twos and all of that and lock all that stuff to grid. But see, actually, it's so much easier just to stack stuff in the back half of this room, and you can get 100 crates in here. I've got the balcony completely full. As you can tell, I gridlocked these over by the elevator, and I just kind of keep it empty, so I was maneuvering around into this elevator. It just takes a lot of work. But and you can see down here, those 16s. This filler station actually stopped working, and I've noticed that the filler stations can kind of bug out after you reach a certain entity count, which is obnoxious. One of the biggest reasons this episode I'm going to be taking this stuff to Orson and selling, because I really don't want to run with a single filler station. It's just really, really slow. But while we kind of make our way to Orson, I want to talk about some observation that I made. Over the past few days, I've noticed that pretty much every time I go for an illegal Hammerhead mission, I don't really get messed with while I'm in the area for fracking and disintegrating it. It's more or less when you're trying to circle the planet. All the OMs are usually stacked with people with missile boats. More often than not, and every time I go to an OM, I'm already prepared to jump to the next one, because yesterday I jumped to an OM just to kind of get myself around the planet, and I had somebody fire a 4 missile volley at me, damaged one of my thrusters, which was super annoying. But yeah, it's gotten completely it's just gotten a lot more hostile, and I think that has a lot to do with salvaging around Yila, and those contracts has become so common in the meta that now it's just it's very well known where you want to go if you want to take down big targets. That's why and I love the illegal Hammerhead missions. They're great. The 250 reward is great. That's kind of like an insurance policy, like I've talked about before. If you lose your cargo or you get blown up, at least you got something for your time. But I've just gotten to the point now where if I want a chill, relaxing kind of play session, I'm going for those legal ones now, like the C2s. If you do, the C2s are comparable to the amount of SE you can get from a Hammerhead. It also allows you just to kind of travel around a bit and everything. All right, so we're gonna go and get into warp here to Crusader. Hopefully we don't have any issues. I have been target locked coming into Orson a few days ago, but they were just saying hi for whatever reason. But I usually don't have any problems on the legal missions. I can stay out there pretty much forever because there's no time limit. It's just you don't get that 250,000 reward for fracking. And I think that the illegal missions are probably going to get changed or nerfed or whatever the case may be. So there's that. Also, I've just been really cautious about how I move around and things like that in terms of avoiding interdiction. I haven't been interdicted in the reclaimer. I've been interdicted in my Eclipse, but yeah, I just like the legal ones now because I can just kind of move around. But for interdiction, you want to kind of stay away from major interdiction spots. So between Crusader and Hurston, is a spot. And like if I'm doing legal missions, I try to like do them all up on the top side of the sun. And if I need to like move down below, then I'll try to like jump that gap when I have an empty load, because Crusader to ArcCorp is an interdiction spot. So whenever I'm trying to like work the bottom half of the solar system, I'll usually go over to try to come down on the backside of Crusader from like Magnus jump point here, and then come down to like McL3, and then back over, because anything that's on the inside of Crusader and Hurston, you run a chance of actually getting interdicted, which is super annoying. But overall, I think that the meta has definitely become oversaturated. Like, I've made so much alpha UEC just from salvaging solo. I've bought pretty much every ship that I could possibly want. At this point, I'm just stacking currency and just having fun with it. And at the beginning of the patch, it was really chill around Yila. I didn't have any problems. I could chain 8 hammerheads on the same server, no problems. Now it's like, by the time I frack and disintegrate one hammerhead, and then I try to make my way out beyond, into deep space to do like processing, someone's already usually following me. And that's what I used to do when for the patch first dropped. I would just like frack and disintegrate the hammerhead, and then go like 100k beyond the belt, come to a complete stop, process, and then go to the next one. Right? Can't even do that anymore. I did that today actually. My last fracture actually. I got a Hammerhead contract, and I got to the Hammerhead Wreck. The Hammerhead was inside of an asteroid, so I had to abandon that. But there was like an offline reclaimer sitting there, so I salvaged that one instead and filled up. The reclaimers are like 800 something SCU. It's crazy, and there was like salvage boxes everywhere, which I didn't pick up. But then I went like 200k beyond the Yila asteroid belt, processed all of my stuff. And then as I was coming back up to the pilot seat, I could hear missiles. I could hear fire being shot at me. And so when I got to the pilot seat, I had 2 hostiles circling around me. And I didn't target them. I didn't see if they were NPCs or if they were players. I was basically in deep space. So, I don't know. Normally, I would say, if any suggestions for like processing, set your destination for like one of the other moons, and then go into quantum warp and then drop out. I used to be really worried about 30Ks and going out and stacking a lot of salvage in my ship, and then risking it to losing it to a 30K. But a couple days ago, I was actually in the claw operator seat and got 30K'd. At that point, I basically left Lorville, went out and started doing hammerheads. I had 3 hammerheads salvaged, processed, and in the cargo hold, sitting in the claw operator chair, and I got 30K. I was like, well, great, this is not good. So once I got disconnected, I immediately reconnected, and once it actually got back in the server, I was laying in bed in Lorville. I was like, well, that's not good. So normally what I do is I'll hit F1, see if my ship's on location with me, and it'll be in the drop down list. It'll be solid white. The reclaimer was on grid with me, or was in Lorville with me. So then, being in Metro Center, I went to the admin shop, and they was able to see 35 16 SU crates. So I sold those. I was like, okay, well, I did 3 hammerheads, so it means I'm missing 10 crates somewhere, which is probably the cargo grid. If this happens to you, all you have to do is just go. I went to Tesis Spaceport, summoned the reclaimer, got in there. All 10 were still on the grid, but they were kind of lower than the grid. They were kind of like glitched off the grid. So if you have your like multi-tool or your tractor weapon, you roll over them. They don't highlight, but you can still like grab them with the tractor beam, and then they'll like grab them and then click them back into place, and they'll be good to go. I went down every box, kind of unglitched them back onto the grid, stored it, went back to the admin shop, sold 10. So moral of that story is 30K didn't stop me from being able to sell all of my gear, all 35. I don't know if that works every single time. I don't know if I just got lucky. A lot of what I was doing, the reason I was kind of like stacking this load really kind of densely, was because I was trying to test a method where if I could just like stay out for a long amount of time and basically just wait for a 30K to conveniently put me back into station. That was kind of my strategy. But it's becoming so crazy just avoiding PvP doing this, that I think that if I was gonna like suggest anybody to do this stuff, like I would just go out there and do like 3 contracts and then go and sell. There's no reason really to stack anything in the cargo or the salvage hold. It's just the doors need to be bigger on those elevator levels, because right now it's just tedious and time consuming. You could put 116 SU boxes all in the process room if you really wanted to stay out for like 8+ contracts. So worrying about the other cargo holds is just, it's not worth the effort or anything. But with that being said, we're going to go and get this thing landed, get over to the admin shop, see how we do in terms of, I think we'll do probably like 8 or so. I don't know. My best guess. I still have no idea how many contracts I have in here, because I've been, kind of breaking it up over the course of a day or so. But we'll go ahead and jump in here and see what is up. All right, we got landed. Let's go ahead and get out of here. We'll make our way over to the admin shop, offload what's in here and get on with the day. I wish they would fix this thing here. Actually, I always do that. You want to open the door and then call elevator. I don't know why that's even a thing. This whole like elevator needs to be like reworked completely. It just takes so long to get to the back one if you're like sitting here. But I messed that one up. So now I gotta call the elevator back up and then do a little funky dance. Yeah. But in other words, they actually dropped a patch a couple days ago on the PTU. It added like a salvage gun or whatever, kind of like the tractor beam gun to that patch. But I also logged into that PTU just to check everything that was associated with salvaging. I was checking the reclaimer. I was seeing if the salvage lift was working. Salvage lift was not working. The value of CMAT has not changed. Settle down. The value of CMAT didn't change. The value of RMC didn't change. The buffer size on the reclaimer did not change. And none of the missions, salvage missions, illegal or otherwise, none of those had to see any changes at all. The only change, the only different thing I saw was they fixed the beds in the crew quarters for the reclaimer. And also, I didn't really check the elevator, like the front elevator we just came out of, but I have a feeling it's still not going to be working. But the salvage lift is like the biggest thing that I think that we should get working out. And I'm not talking about the main cargo elevator that you like use to go between the decks. I'm talking about the actual salvage lift that's at the back of the process room that travels from the process room to the salvage hold. That's a legitimate like salvage lift that is just bugged out right now. I don't know if its intention purposes to go from 3 different levels. I don't know if you're allowed to. I don't know if its intended purposes to go from like processing to salvage hold to exterior, because you can open it exterior. Also, if you go to the reclaimer and you open all exterior from the cockpit, it will come out of the back, the very, very back of the ship. But it just doesn't work. It just doesn't show up. If you try to throw like boxes like you see me do, you like throw boxes down that hole and they hit like invisible pillars, they're hitting that that salvage lift that's just invisible and you can't interact with it. And before it just disappeared, it was actually just killing people. Like you would try to use it and it would just like completely crush you when you're standing on top of it. And I think that if they ever get that salvage lift working and we can see what the actual like the actual utility of it is, then it'll probably be pretty nifty to have. But all right, we're gonna head to this admin station and see how much our load is worth here. All right, here we go. Let's go see what the damage is. I honestly don't even know how many hammerheads I have in this thing. I've been just kind of like stacking them in every nook and cranny. So if I can get 10 million for what I've got, that will be worth it. So we've got 80. Yeah, we could have probably done like 3 more, whatever. So that's 7.6 million right there. And with this load, I dealt with so much drama with just other players and PvP, and got damaged like 3 or 4 times just kind of just craziness going on. Pretty good, up to 22 million again, and that's after buying. I have like 35 ships. I've bought like so many ships since I've been doing this. I think the next ship I'm going to probably buy, and probably the last ship I'm going to buy for this patch, is probably the Carrack, just to kind of fly that around and whatever. But I'm still enjoying salvaging. It's just I'm going to have to adapt my strategy if I want to be like, you know, just kind of left alone. I don't know if the illegal missions are going to continue to be worth it if you want chill gameplay. So I'm probably going to be focusing quite a bit on the legal ones and kind of show how that goes, because I can also do some RMC on that as well, and not worry about a timer or anything. But thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.